does payment instability threaten that structure behind the scene? Maybe you have a client in diaspora, they are trying to make payments because the sum is huge or problems like that. How does this threaten, the structure that you have built behind the scene? That's the question.
All right, thank you so much. For us at Asset First, I those we have this, we experience some of this particular problem. Our diaspora clients, sometimes they have it's so difficult for them to process payment from their own banking system down to Nigeria. When you look at it, what is involving, there are like a lot of other companies who process payment like almost immediately. We have MoneyGram, we have all of that. However, as a company, with a structure, once you have the legal system, you're registered, you have all your licenses, you'll be able to process like domiciliary accounts, whereby you can use as like payment gateway for most of the transaction. So for us at Asset First, we already we already have those systems, we have the structure, and one of those things as well that may serve as the problem is delay as well. Because when a client pays you for any business, they expect instant response that have you confirmed this payment. Let's say for instance, the client wants to buy the property worth like 100 million naira, and they already processed the payment, and the admin at the back end, they already sent their receipt, and the admin is finding it difficult to say, okay, we haven't confirmed this payment yet, and that's because of the system here, our local system here. So most of those payments, it drops like too late. But thank God for the likes of Sznd. We use Sznd and thank God for the likes of Sznd. So most of those payments, once they just process it, it's instant. So at the moment we don't express it, but yeah.
Wow, that makes absolute sense. I think somebody should be giving a round of applause. This is because all the processes we explained, and at the end of everything he said, we use Sznd and we build experience here. So if you have any question, I think this is the time to start writing it. You can pass your question so I can ask, or if you want to ask a question, there will be a session where we get to ask the panelists question by ourselves. But that's the very first one as well. Wow, that is really nice. And it mentioned something about structure, getting the right license. So if you're a business owner here, you have your own startup or something, try to get it registered, try to have all the licenses that you're supposed to avoid having future problems. So that's it. Now I'll be going to Mr. Toby at David. And the first question, the question I want to ask now, many young Africans want to enter e-commerce or importation. We see people in school trying to pay for one importation class import from China. Then you get cases like, this was what I ordered, this was what I got. I did not get the actual thing. But one of the things too is, I don't know if that company I'm paying to in China, I don't know if that company is really low. Oh my pay low, but the company is a fake company, it was a fake biller, the person entered debt and all sort of things. Now, the question I want to ask is, what mistakes do first-time importers make to offer? Especially, I'm not talking about the big people now, I'm talking about those that just want to start newly. For instance, a student that wants to sell all this aesthetic stuff from China, or somebody that's selling computer, all of those things that, they want to start importation. Now, what is that mistake that you've seen too frequently that they make, especially when it comes to them making payments? So that's the question.
That's a good question because we experience this a lot. So most first-time importers they make many mistakes, but I'm going to highlight maybe two. So the first thing is they focus more on the product cost and ignoring the payment process itself. So what I mean is most importers what they search online is because, okay, let me start from the first place. If you want to engage in cross-border trade with China, you need platforms, right? You need platforms through which you can buy those products. So the first thing is you need to download. There are many platforms, Chinese platforms, that you can buy from. First, Pinduoduo, I don't know if you've heard of Pinduoduo, Taobao, Jingdong, you've heard of it. Yeah. So what they do is they download Pinduoduo and then you solve. You cannot buy this eyeglass, right? And they tell their customer, because most of these people don't buy for themselves, they are buying to sell. They are business owners buying to sell to that people. So once you see the price of the platform, 200 yuan, 200 yuan is equivalent to maybe 40,000 naira. So what they will now tell their customer is 50,000. You understand? So you added maybe 10,000 naira. So they exclude the payment process itself. You know that engaging in cross-border trade, you have to consider the exchange rate volatility. Right? So what they do is they price this product at that time of them purchasing, or they want to like intend to purchase. So if we give them the rate 220, the rate is 220. What they tell their customer is 220 or 225. Right? But when they are ready to buy, they come back. The exchange rate will maybe go significantly going up to like twice or 3 times. And their customer has already paid them to buy food. So when they are coming to meet you, I want to buy this thing, I will give them the rate, there's 60,000 naira. They are like, last week I tried this thing, is 50,000 naira. You did not consider the exchange rate volatility. You did not consider the shipping fee volatility, of course, because shipping fee changes almost every week. The airline will tell you the rate today is $7.5 per CBM, $7.5 per kg. Meanwhile, you have gone to tell your customer $7.5. By the time you come back, maybe next week, the rate is like $15 per kg. So that usually eats into their profit. So for first-time importers, they focus more on the product cost itself while ignoring the payment process. So as a first-time importer, if you want to engage in cross-border trade, you need to find a reliable payment partner like Shopify, so that there's a way we calculate the volatility, so it doesn't meet you off guard. Of course, it still remains profitable. So that's the first thing.
Wow, that makes absolute sense. I think even for individuals that are trying to get stuff from China or any other country themselves, you might have placed an order for something, for instance, and the next time you're going to check that it's out of stock, the price has changed, you're like, what's happening to these people? Why are they doing like this? So there is the product cost and there is the payment process. And in the payment process, you have to consider the hiking, the inflation. Yes, you have to consider that. All right. So for every first timer here trying to import from China, or you have a friend that does, or you have a sister that does, a sibling that does, make them aware there is product cost, there is inflation, and there is payment process. So they have to check every day before you make payments, ensure you are correct with the rates on that particular day. So I have a question for Ridwan Lasisi. Now, what most people do when we see artwork, like what we're seeing on the wall, is we admire the end product, the final product, which is what we're seeing on the wall. But the business side of creativity, that is where payments, where creatives find problems with payments, and what are the problems specifically that we on the other end we do not see, but creatives are going through this problem a lot, especially with payments, whether locally or internationally.
I would say for like the first thing I'll point to is that before the creative process, there's the side whereby we source materials and stuff. And most of the materials that we use are not locally made. Most of it, like our canvas, most of the paints, but the paints I actually use is from China. So, the shipping process of those materials and everything, depending on what you said about the shipping fee and the rates that I was saying, it changes the prices of the material that we get. so I can get the material today. Because when we sell our work also, we calculate the price of the material that we use. Yeah. So when I get the canvas for like, let me say 15,000, and I'm making like a commission for you, maybe I'm like, oh, I can afford 50,000. And me and I'm like, nah, I want some real kid. You understand? They're like, oh, I can't buy it from real kid, I want 50,000. I cannot say that, okay, let me do it for you. I'm going to accept that price. And by the time I get to the market the next day, they are telling me that the canvas is for 25,000. What am I going to do? It's a loss to me. I can't come to you and be like, oh, you need to increase that money. So there is that for us. And also when it comes to like payment method, there's always this thing of you need to wait for like 7 days to receive the money and all that stuff. And it's not something that is really ideal that we can sit down and be waiting for, because our creative process or what we do is something that is always continuous. We don't sit down. But most creative might sit down and not do anything, but mostly the professional artists, we are always on the run, always doing something, always doing this, always doing that. So the waiting time, waiting for, there was a day someone was sending me those, maybe like $50 for a print. And I was just like, let me take this money and use it to get canvas, not knowing that that money is going to be arriving in 30 days. You know, I was like, how am I going to create? Ask for that person, please, this money has not grown. So I don't understand this small money, but the money I really needed at that time. So you see that time frame, that's something that we're actually also like challenging. And again, another thing is that, yeah, there's different apps that comes up, like, which one have I used? I was using, Cheaper is actually known, you know, most people know Cheaper. I recommended it to one of my friends in the UK, and the person was like, what's Cheaper? And I was like, wait, you don't know Cheaper? Cheaper is active in your country, I don't know about it. Like, I don't understand how. Like, no, I don't trust that any app like that, I don't trust. I was like, bro, just use Cheaper and send me my money, that's what I want. But there's that thing about the trust, and that's what I was saying about the company working with other countries. You need to collaborate, you need to do advertisement, because we are not your customer. Yeah, we are not your customer. Like, we are not the ones sending the funds. What you need to do is work more with those international audiences, the different countries, collaborate with people in Canada, create different adverts, so that the clients over there can know about this, your product or your company. Then we in Nigeria, you can easily just recommend it to them. You understand? So if they don't establish that, we can't use it. Because there was a time I was recommending different apps to someone that when I wanted to sell one of my paintings, and the person was like, I can't use bank, I don't want you to know my routing number. And I'm like, well, I want to use your routing number to just send you this money. I'm like, oh, okay, do you use Reddit? I don't know about. What do you now know about? I'm using Cash App. I can't use Cash App. I told her I can't use Cash App. So what else do you use? Let's use Bank. I don't know Bank. So what will you use? Nothing. Nothing. The sale is going like that. A lot of sales that have lost that way. And now what I do is, if you don't trust me as a client to buy my work through any information that I give you, then I'm done. I don't have any conversation with you. Because most of the time you spend like days negotiating with these people. Use this app now, use this one now, use this one now for like 1 week. Then the person will get out and tell you that, don't worry, I'll find another artist that is more easy for me to buy from. Someone did that to me and I was like, okay, no problem, next time. And what I do now is it's not that I don't want to go, I don't like push my work to people like that outside the country. But still, they are my audience. But if you want to buy my work, it has to be on my own terms. Because I'm from Africa and if you don't like that, that's your own problem. And there's always that thing of like the trust, like, this guy, you apply to like some teams and they'll see like you're from Nigeria, or they'll call you and be like, hello, I'm really interested in working with you, but where are you from? I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah? Okay, we'll get back to you. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, nobody's going to get back. So stuff like that, there's that bias, and I feel like the bias is mainly because of our government. I'm not going to say because of our fraud, we're not doing any fraud. As he said, we are not doing any fraud, and it's true. Like the most fraudulent country, we are not even close at all. We are not close. What are we aiming? When people are robbing Adidas of $1 million through fraud, we are not doing that. How many Nigerians are able to do that? We are not able to do that. But there's this bias against Nigerians that, oh, you guys are doing something to lie. We are not this kindness of this kind. So they say, yeah. So the thing is just one thing I feel like is the problem is the trust. It's the trust. Our companies need to establish this relationship with them. It's not just about you telling us to be using those apps or use this one, tell your clients to use this one. They don't trust your app. They don't trust it. So first thing you need to go establish that trust, then you can recommend it to us. Like that's a problem that needs to be dealt with wherever we can.
Wow, that's